Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things only real Matrix fans would know.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
For this list, we're looking at trivia from the Matrix franchise, focusing on the knowledge that may separate a casual fan from a more hardcore one. We'll be covering the movie trilogy as well as the video games, comics, and the Animatrix. We've got some major Matrix mavens here at WatchMojo. Seriously, a couple of our staff members are nothing short of obsessed. So we want to know what you thought the first time you watched the movie.
It was a work of art, flawless, sublime.
Number 10. The real names of the Agent Smith clone fights, The Matrix Reloaded, and The Matrix Revolutions. In this exciting scene from Reloaded, Neo fends off a horde of Smiths. You're not wrong if you call this battle Neo versus Smiths or the Agent Smith clone fight. But if you refer to it as the Burly Brawl and call the final Revolutions fight the Super Burly Brawl, then you're a truly dedicated Matrix fan. Bonus points if you know why they're called that. The Burly Man was the crew's codename for the sequels, which was a nod to the fictional script being developed in the film Barton Fink. Trilogy directors the Wachowskis were fans and felt parallels between the making of the sequels and Fink's themes.
Take a look around this dump. You're just a tourist with a typewriter, Barton. I live here. Don't you understand that?
The Burly Man was also the title of an early Wachowski screenplay, and Burly Man Entertainment is the name of their comic book company. Number 9. The names of all the main agents. The Matrix franchise. Speaking of agents, we certainly get to see plenty of Smith, but did you know that even the ones who get less screen time have names too? Although the human resistance doesn't really care to distinguish between them,
You all look the same to me.
trivia-happy fans can tell who's who. Agent Brown is the one who chases Trinity over rooftops in the opening sequence, and Jones is the one who triggers Neo's iconic bullet-dodging move.
Only human.
Dodge this.
In the sequels, we're introduced to 3 brawny new agents.
Upgrades.
Agent Johnson fights Morpheus during the freeway chase, and Thompson is assimilated by Smith during the Burly Brawl.
You.
Yes, me.
Me too.
He's also the one shooting at Trinity as she falls, while Jackson shoots at her moments before. There are also agents in the comics, the games, and the Animatrix. Number 8. The many books that inspired it. The Matrix.
Baudrillard's ideas of simulacra, simulation, is an important point within the film, and that what we see in the film as a real object is in fact often a simulation.
The film had many influences, such as Hong Kong action movies and anime, but it was also informed by various written works.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole.
Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass are the obvious ones, but there are more. To deepen their understanding of the story, the Wachowskis asked the main cast and crew to read Simulacra and Simulation by the French philosopher Jean Baudrillard. This book about symbols and reality is seen in the film when Neo grabs a disc from a hollowed-out copy. Keanu Reeves also read 2 other books for the part.
I had to read Baudrillard. I had to read Out of Control, which was about systems, evolution, robots. And then there was another book which was evolutionary psychology. Those were 3 books that they wanted me to read before I even opened up the script.
Other literary influences include the work of science fiction writers William Gibson and Philip K. Dick. Number 7. The story can be read as a trans allegory. The Matrix.
You know what that means? It's Latin. Means know thyself.
One of the things that makes great art great is that new layers of meaning can be found in it years later. Although it wasn't public knowledge in 1999, both Wachowski sisters are trans women, and The Matrix has transgender themes throughout.
What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
Neo's sense of being ill at ease in the world can be likened to gender dysphoria, and the red pill can be compared to a type of hormone replacement therapy.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
As a hacker, Neo uses a name other than his birth name. Although the idea was scrapped, Lana and Lily originally intended for Switch to appear male in the real world and female in The Matrix. The film's themes of awakening, transformation, and possibility resonated with many transgender viewers, and the hero's journey reminded us all that identity comes from within.
What does that mean?
The Matrix cannot tell you who you are.
Number 6. Everybody who played Neo, The Matrix.
Now there's more than one of them.
A lot more.
Keanu Reeves isn't the only person who brought Neo to life. In the first film, 3 stunt doubles were used for some of Neo's most dangerous moves. Lots of folks know about Chad Stahelski, since he went on to co-direct John Wick. Stahelski was also the martial arts stunt coordinator for the sequels, as well as an uncredited double. The other Neo double in The Matrix was Darko Tusken, and the third was Paul Doyle, who also doubled Smith. 2 of the stuntmen were injured during the subway fight. Tusken when a hydraulic device yanked him to the ground, and Stahelski when he landed after hitting the ceiling. Ouch.
When they came down, the other stunt man, I guess Chad was on the bottom, and landed on the one knee, and I think his knee broke, and his shoulder tore ligaments in his knees, dislocated his shoulders, broke some ribs.
Without these guys, we would not have one of the most badass fights in action cinema. Number 5. The significance of B166ER, The Matrix comics, and the Animatrix. The Matrix only offered hints about how the machines took over, when Morpheus gave Neo a brief history lesson.
At some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
Those of us who dove deeper into the franchise's mythology can fill in the blanks. In the aptly named comic Bits and Pieces of Information, we learned that a robot, in an act that was arguably self-defense, killed his owner when the man tried to deactivate him. The robot was called B166ER, which is a reference to Bigger Thomas, protagonist of the 1940 novel Native Son.
B166ER, a name that will never be forgotten, for he was the first of his kind to rise up against his masters.
The Animatrix expanded on B166ER's story, showing the full aftermath of his murder trial. It sparked a struggle between humans and machines that eventually led to war, and to humanity's enslavement in the Matrix.
Hand over your flesh, and a new world awaits you. We demand it.
Number 4. Why Keanu Reeves had to go easy on the kicking. The Matrix. If you're thinking, what are you talking about, WatchMojo? Keanu kicks plenty. Then you probably haven't gone too deep into the behind-the-scenes rabbit hole.
And if you notice in the film, I don't kick that much. I do a couple of wire kicks, but I don't kick that much because I couldn't.
During training for the first film, Reeves was recovering from spinal surgery, so he had to wear a neck brace. Kung Fu choreographer Yuen Wu-ping didn't give Keanu any big moves, and he couldn't kick for half of the 4-month training period. As a result, Neo doesn't do that many kicks in the finished product, except for some where he's suspended on a wire. Presumably, these were either easier to execute, easier on his spine, or both. The kicks he did off the wire still looked great, though.
I repeat, we are under attack!
4 in a row. The man was, and still is, unstoppable. Number 3. Which other actors could have played the main characters? The Matrix. By now, it's pretty common knowledge that Will Smith could have been Neo. But did you know about the many other actors who could have taken the role? Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Nicolas Cage all turned it down for various reasons. The studio even considered changing Neo's gender so Sandra Bullock could play the part.
So you're saying I have to wear the bathing suit?
Yeah, you have to wear the bathing suit.
Okay.
According to the movie's composer, Don Davis, the Wachowskis' first choice was Johnny Depp. But Keanu Reeves ended up being the perfect pick. Actors considered for Morpheus include Samuel L. Jackson, Val Kilmer, and even Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Iceman cometh.
Salma Hayek, Janet Jackson, and Jada Pinkett Smith were almost Trinity, with Pinkett Smith eventually playing Niobe in the sequels.
Gotcha.
All's well that ends well, and we can't imagine anyone else as our trio of heroes.
I probably would have messed the Matrix up. I would have ruined it. So I did y'all a favor.
Number 2. What happened to Morpheus in one of the video games? The Matrix Online. Being a resistance leader is dangerous work, and Morpheus has narrowly escaped death several times.
I'll miss you always.
Stop. I don't believe this is happening.
In the first film, he was moments away from dying before Neo hatched a plan to save him. In the sequel, he was nearly assimilated by Smith, but he made it to the end of the third film in one piece. Sadly, his luck ran out when he was gunned down in The Matrix Online, a massive multiplayer online role-playing game that continued the story. After all we'd seen him survive, it was painful to see him die unceremoniously in an alley. It is worth noting, however, that he came back as a digital simulation, and that the game was shut down before the story ended. So until Resurrections, his entire journey is unknown.
What if tomorrow the war could be over? Isn't that worth fighting for? Isn't that worth dying for?
Before we unveil which of our picks is the one, here are some honorable mentions. Which Academy Awards the movie won? The Matrix. Best Film Editing, Best Sound Editing, and of course, Best Visual Effects. The kid's full name and backstory, The Animatrix. Young Michael Carl Popper escaped from the Matrix in a rare instance of self-substantiation.
I knew you'd save me. I didn't save you, kid. You saved yourself.
The alternate version of the Super Burly Brawl, The Matrix: Path of Neo. Rather than fight one Smith while the others look on, Neo battles a giant Mega Smith. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. We owe a huge debt to a low-budget mid-90s crime film, Bound. It's common knowledge that we wouldn't have The Matrix without the martial arts movies that were part of the inspiration for it. What's less commonly known is the importance of Bound, the Wachowskis' 1996 thriller.
It was fun because it was a low-budget movie. We did the temp music ourselves. You know, we came up with stuff, and I cut it all in. And we really worked hands-on together very closely for a long time and created this little, what to me is a little jewel of a movie. I love Bound.
The siblings had already written and wanted to direct The Matrix, but the studio wouldn't give a big-budget movie to first-time directors.
You first.
So they directed Bound, a critically acclaimed film with 1/10 of the budget of The Matrix, as proof that they were ready.
What happened?
Also, some of Bound's cast and crew went on to work on The Matrix, including actor Joe Pantoliano, cinematographer Bill Pope, editor Zach Steinberg, and composer Don Davis. And the rest is history. What can we say other than...
Thanks.
My pleasure.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.